Okay, when you patch something plastic, especially in this on the back side, which had a hole through it that I got out of a pick, then you kind of have to knock it down, and I like using a little Dremel to make things go a little quicker. Get out from this angle here. I'm just knocking it down so it doesn't run against the back of the cab. Okay, so what this does is this stuff here sits in the back of the cab, and you don't want it to cause any obstruction to getting the piece back into the vehicle. So what I'm doing is knocking it down so it doesn't have any obstructions and whatnot. And now I'll just clean up some of these little fiberglass pieces here, and then we'll be good. The other side of this, by the way, is right here. You can see right here, this is how big the hole was. And there was one right there too, when I got it out of the pick. So you don't need to buy a whole new plastic piece. You can preserve what you have and reuse it. And in some cases make it stronger than it was before. We live in times when we don't have that luxury, that we can find replacement parts with stuff. After all, the federal government wants to put us all into electric vehicles, and that means all of our vehicles that we've had in the past are going to be in a junkyard, buried. And this cuts us off from our past, and we can't let that happen. Okay, this is right here. This is a piece that goes up under the steering column. They call it a, I forgot what they called it in the MPC. It's got a very long word, very long phrase for it. But the part number is EOTB 14459-A. And there's a couple of problems with these that are notorious. There's two tabs that are supposed to come off here. A tab that looks like a horseshoe, and then one on this side, another horseshoe. This one here also has a typical crack. This happens all the time on these old Fords. And so what they did is they screwed a hole, drilled a hole and put a screw through it. It's just ugly. So I found one at a pick and pull. I still have to do the same thing. You can see here I have the beginnings of the makings of the tabs that I'm going to have to refashion. But also, more importantly, the screw holes are right exactly where they should be, and it's not cracked like the other one. So I'm going to see if I can put these horseshoe tabs together sometime today, because it's supposed to like, how do you do it? You hook it. It hooks in like that. It goes down and then up, and then the steering wheel column sits in here. All right. Hey, from Portland, washed out. What do you know? Okay, I got the dash out today, and I also have the instrument cluster gauge out, which I'll show at a separate time. So we've got cracks here, here. We have some bubbling here, crack here, which kind of comes off to the front, crack in the back, crack in the back. And then, of course, the real problem is going to be this baby right here. So this is where the speaker grill used to go. You can kind of see the little holes where it cracked. This is notorious for happening. I have no idea what I'm going to do here. So you're going to have to hang out with me while I try and figure this out. This has all got to be cut out. All of this, all these cracks have to be cut out and widened. And this stuff that bubbles up right here, these little lips, all have to go. So when something lays across it, it lays flat, like a level or something. It has to. There should be no rocking on either side of these cracks here. I have a couple of other little pieces here. This little piece here is just sort of coming off. I'm gonna glue that back in with some lock weld. And then this has all got to be sanded down, and then I'm going to use a flexible Bondo to fill the cracks. I mean, the rest of it's in pretty good shape, which is kind of amazing since it's a 1980 dash. So, you know, what, 40 years? 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah, 40 year dash. I'd like to know what to do with the bottom. As you can see, there's some foam here that's been degraded. Of course, there was not foam everywhere, so I may just repair these little areas with some high density foam to provide for some shock absorption. And I've got a bunch of that stuff, so I think that's what I'll do here. Running across here, running across here, running across the front and the front here. I may pick some of this foam out of here so I can lay down the new high density foam, unless I come up with a different idea. So I've still got to do a little bit of research on that. You can see here that they tried to glue this thing together before with a makeshift dash. You know, this is not original. They just tried to glue this on for a speaker that's underneath. So and there was no speaker underneath there when I got it, so I went to Classic Car Stereos and I got one. I got an actual, used to be just a mono speaker in here. I got a stereo speaker. It's one speaker, but it's got two sides to it. So because I wanted to utilize all the space I can. On these old trucks, you know, there's not a lot of room in the cab, which I have to say is highly charming. What can I tell you, man? We need to return. Okay, so getting this prepared for fiberglassing, because the cross members here on this side and these two sides were cracked. I've got the holes beginning to open up, and that's it. That's where we are. First thing I should point out here is that these cracks need to be widened out and flattened. These lips usually peel up, and that all has to be cut away. And the next thing you have to do is you have to cut it at an angle. Now you could do it with a utility knife, but some of this stuff is so brittle. I just use a Dremel cutting wheel for plastic. And this is really more of a vinyl plastic type of material here. But you got to open it up. This is especially what happened on this side, where it was cracked more than I thought in several directions, and so it had to be really widened out. Probably about, I mean, it was a small crack, but it was long. And then you had a little peeling here, and those had to be. I'm just going to fill these here with regular, what they call is a flexible Bondo. So make sure you cut at an angle, because you want the Bondo to cover the vinyl and the vinyl not to tip back up again. So you cut it at an angle, 45-degree angle or so. So the Bondo is covering part of the dash here. Now this is, boy, this hardened up pretty good. It's a hot ass day today, as usual here in the South. So this shit it's set up pretty quick. So I'll probably do some hand sanding on this, and then maybe by the end of the day we'll be able to get to the first coat of the Polyvance flexible Bondo material. Okie doke. Okay, we got a couple of things here to update on. Used Bondo fiberglass short strand to fill in the cracks initially, here, here, and here. And then I have cut out a piece of ABS plastic that I'm going to use for the grill. Now I've left space. It's not perfect here because I got to fill in with some flexible Bondo, a special Bondo, not regular Bondo. And I'm going to set it in it while it's still wet around these edges, and that'll help provide some glue to it. These little things right here are twist nylon zip ties, and it raised the level of the ABS plastic grill that I made to make it flush with the edge of the dash, which is all going to have to be blended in very carefully with some of the Bondo that comes up. Last thing is, you can just see it here, right there. I had a piece of plastic that was broken. This is one of the screw holes that holds in the dash. There's one here, one here, one here, and this one here was open, so it was broken. And I'm gonna try, it's not really the strongest, but I fiberglass meshed it and put resin in there, and it doesn't need to hold it. It's not like it's under a lot of stress, so I'll drill a hole, I'll clean this up, drill a hole, and maybe that'll hold. What I may also do is add a little bit of fiberglass mesh right there on this side too. Then it'll give it a double side barrier. But otherwise, we're just sitting here and waiting for the thing to dry up, and then we can start with the Bondo and then the sanding, and then the speaker grill goes in. Okay. Okay, just so you know, things always look worse before they look better. So this is the first coat of flexible Bondo, and it's going to have to be sanded down and then reapplied. As you can see, it shrinks when it dries. And then I've just got the grill that I fabbed up just wire tied in here, because it's going to take some filling in and some blending, and I don't want it to move around when I do that. This part still needs to be fixed. I need to put something on this side to strengthen it, so I can, when I drill the screw hole, it won't tear the fiberglass resin. And of course this side here is almost done after the first coat. It won't take much to sand this. This is going to be the tough stuff here. This is off the front side of the dash, of course, so it's going to have to take some blending of the angles. And that's pretty much it. So, you know, one step at a time, mate. Okay, based on the time that you have, I have several projects going at once. This is the dash here. This is, I don't know if this is going to be the final application, but this is my third application of mud, or Bondo, or whatever you want to call it. It's a flexible Bondo, it's special. And things look worse before they get better. And so this one here, it's going to have to be sanded down, of course. But this flexible band is supposed to push up the heat. I'm a little bit okay with the way the grill has turned out. Right now I have it tacked in with zip ties here. I had one here. No, it's still there. This one's gone after I sanded, and then that one there, so it's tacked in. And then I had a piece here that I fiberglassed in resin. It was weak, and then I drilled the hole. It's just supposed to hold the, it's just for screws, not real high tension. You can see what the old ones look like. So this will look much better after it's painted and of course sanded down. Sanding takes the longest time, so I've spent now 3 days on this sanding to get it to this point. All right, this is the finished product here. Oops, I got a piece of sweat there that fell on me. Oh, sorry about that. All right, so I think I got this pretty much done. It's lots of sanding, prime, textured, and this is the finished result. It looks pretty much brand spanking new. I mean, if you look really hard, you'll be able to see some of the things here on the new dash grill I created are bad, but everything is good. I can't believe actually how good this turned out. Remember, there was a huge crack here, cracks here, 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 and here. No, just here. There wasn't one on this side. It was on this side here. Can't tell.